You said you were ready.
All right. I was thinking, for the first time ever, because usually we're pretty scripted, in what we can say. I think we should attempt to do this intro full improv with no prep. And you think we could do it?
Maybe.
I don't.
Yeah. Let's not even try.
Oh, baby. We here.
We're still.
You in the right direction. Welcome to another edition of the Grossi Perna Show. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna, and this is a GPS.
Wow. Oh, wow. Nice. 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 Nice.
All right. Thanks. Yeah. Welcome, everybody.
Like Jimmy Neutron.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just did the hair too, so it's still like flexible.
Yeah.
So you really could just
moldable.
Get it to rock out. That's it. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Hold your applause, please. Thank you. Ran a great campaign yesterday.
Wow. Job.
That's it.
That seems like a job I don't want.
Clean it up. We're going to clean it up. No, I didn't watch There's Something About Mary, but great movie. Great movie.
You've never watched that?
No, someone asked if I just watched it. No, I have. It's a great movie. That's a great movie. Come on. Brett Favre is
I've
in
never
it.
watched Something About Mary. It's a great movie.
It's a great movie. No,
I'm gonna start saying that.
I
never seen it, but it's a great movie. I've heard.
Haven't seen it. Great movie. It's the best movie. It's huge. No, I actually went to the movies last night and saw an excellent movie. So I saw The Life of Chuck. Big fan. Very, very good. Has Tom Hiddleston in it. Has a bunch of people in it. What did you say?
Chuck Berry?
No.
Oh.
Chuck Berry. But it was very good. I recommend. I love Mike Flanagan. He makes good things. So I'm all about it. Brandon, how you doing? Are you melting over there, or is the heat wave kind of past Colorado? We're in the last day of the heat wave.
Rained. It's cooler than normal. It's supposed to rain a little more. It's cloudy. It's actually very pleasant.
That must be nice.
Not bad.
Must be nice. Yeah, no, it's hot. It's hot as balls.
It'll be warm again tomorrow, but
yesterday was terrible. Yesterday was awful. I mean, it was like at least 90% humidity, and it was 98 degrees, and not the band. It was not fun.
It's a dry heat here always.
Yeah, no, I wish the dry heat would have been fine. There's no
people say that, and then they get here and their skin starts to crack and fall off their body, and they're like, "It's too dry."
During 30 and 30, it was 110 in Arizona when we were there. Okay, and I was like, "Guys, it's not fun. We lost a dry heat." It wasn't fun, but at least like the air wasn't actually trying to kill you. It was just the sun.
Yeah, you can't escape the humidity.
No, the humidity is horrible. It's terrible. So that's not good. No.
Today, there's 3 things. Okay, 3 things for football today. I'm going to ask Tom if he agrees with the boomer bust players from the AFC. We did the NFC, and it was such an underwhelming disappointment. We said, let's finish the whole league.
Perna's the boomer player.
Let's do the whole thing. We're going to figure out which players are boomers and which are not. There's a little bit of Aaron Rodgers stuff I do want to talk about.
How'd your basketball video do?
Tanked. Worst one.
Nice.
And I knew it wouldn't be as good, but I thought like, oh, we're getting this up in time. Maybe it'll be okay. But
yeah.
And I applaud the small market teams. I applaud what the NBA had there with the Pacers and the Thunder. But I will tell you, nobody really cares when they are 2 small market teams.
Sure.
But video's solid. It's fine. Today I'm working on the this is the 3rd thing. The collusion case that Pablo Torre broke. About the NFL, about the guaranteed contract. So we can talk about that a little bit.
Yep.
I want to say one, it's not. I think it's important what Pablo is. There we go. Is doing. Yeah, Jared. See,
back-to-back comments.
Those are the real winners and losers from the finals.
There you
go. Investigative journalism. So he and Florio were trying to get this document about
they were competing.
Grievance that was filed by some of the players against the league for basically colluding to ensure other players did not get fully guaranteed contracts after the Browns were like,
let's give all the money to Sean Watson.
Hey, Watson, you know how we're going to get you? We're going to give you the most money ever for any player.
Mm-hmm.
NFL saw that and they're like, whoa, pump the brakes, motherfuckers. We do not want to do this.
So it's interesting because Florio came out yesterday and was like, none of the big news agencies are covering this. But yeah, so basically
wait 1 second. Yeah, Florio was saying that when they just dropped that information this morning.
Yeah.
And to go through all of it takes some time. So, and I love what they did. And their conversation on Pablo's YouTube channel, great. But Florio, give him a fucking minute, man. Give him a goddamn day to figure out this hour-long thing that you guys threw out there. That's a 60-page fucking like breakdown of what happened. Mm-hmm. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah. No, it's just so basically because Deshaun Watson was given so much guaranteed money, and we talked about this too, like around the time it was happening, of how that was going to impact other contracts. So what is being levied here was that basically a whole bunch of organizations got together and were like, hey, we need to make sure that those guarantees are not like the Deshaun Watson contract, to make sure they're a little bit. Let's have some conversations about bringing it down together, which is collusion, similar to how the Packers and the Lions colluded about Brian Branch. Basically the same thing.
No.
Nope. It's basically the same thing.
No.
Basically just one and one.
I learned that there's a thing called the NFL Management Council that advises on these things to make sure like the rules, I guess, of the CBA are being followed or something. And they're like, we got Roger Goodell telling us to tell the teams to not do the fully guaranteed stuff. And that's what they did.
Yep.
Now, and this is like the conclusion I got to and that I get to in the video basically is that this is a big deal, but it's also not. The NFL basically they colluded together to make sure they just kept doing contracts the way that they were doing contracts, the way that they're allowed to do contracts within the CBA.
Collusion. Like it is, like, right.
Sure.
Like it doesn't help players because you have a whole bunch of billionaires and millionaires saying like, hey, we want to make sure that we're gonna protect the bottom line.
But
right?
by rule, the players did not get fully guaranteed contracts in the last CBA. The NFLPA has let them down in that department the last two collective bargaining agreements.
No.
So the NFL is just like, yeah, let's keep doing it the way we were and make sure this Watson thing was the one-off.
It's an outlier. Yeah.
And it's also Watson was the worst player they could have chosen to give a fully guaranteed contract in maybe the history of the NFL. Like,
the
only other option I think that would be worse in the last 20 years would be like Aaron Hernandez getting the fully guaranteed contract, right? Like, had this been like Mahomes and he played well, I think teams would be like, you know what? Actually, we are going to take a chance and give our quarterback fully guaranteed money because the benefits outweigh the negatives. But it was Watson, and that was part of the problem.
So the concern is obviously amongst the players is like, hey, if there is collusion that's going on between the organizations, that's going to hurt our bottom line because there's only going to be so much guaranteed money that is going to be given out to players, right? So that is like the problem that people have with that.
Yeah.
That being said, I feel like they could have gotten to the same exact solution without colluding because they could have just, I don't know, waited a season and a half and go, we shouldn't do what the Cleveland Browns did. And I think enough organizations could have come to that conclusion and been like, you know what, guys, we shouldn't do this.
If it was a good organization too, then maybe this shakes out a little bit differently. but it was the Browns.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, let's not do what they're doing, guys. Like if it were a perennially good team, then it probably opens up a door for guaranteed money. But then this isn't addressed in the thing. Like, wasn't Roger Goodell recently saying that they want to work towards like a solution where teams aren't taking advantage of the loopholes for fake money down the road?
Yeah.
You know what fixes that? Fully guaranteed contracts. So I don't know.
But I mean, you have the Cincinnati Bengals who are fighting to give guarantees, if their first round draft pick gets hurt. Right. So it's always going to come down to money and teams not wanting to spend it. And you can trace a lot of issues back to that, whether it's grass fields, whether it's with the salary cap and having to do with players, that's ultimately they want to keep as much money as humanly possible, which I get. But some of these problems are of their own making. But I feel like, again, if you're sitting here in 2025 and looking back at the Cleveland Browns and the deal that they made with Deshaun Watson, you didn't have to collude. Just
be like, guys,
just wait. Be like, nope. Guys, we shouldn't. I don't think there's a single team in the league right now that is looking at that deal with Deshaun Watson going, more. If we replicate that. I think that was a pretty good move.
The guy who got fucked is Lamar Jackson. He needed a contract at the wrong time. He doesn't have an agent. I think that's part of the problem on his end. And he still got a good contract, a very good contract.
Yeah.
With I think 185 million guaranteed. And he would have been the right player to push for a fully guaranteed contract. But his negotiations, basically, they left like 130 million or so of his deal was not guaranteed. I forget the exact number. Because the other like big players in this thing are Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. Also, two guys I don't think are the best examples of players you want fully guaranteed deals with.
Sure.
And it came out, Russ wanted 7 years, 350 fully guaranteed from the Broncos.
You should have gave it to him.
Like, using Russell Wilson as an example of a guy who didn't get paid enough money, it counters your points. It counters them. And we learned Greg Pinner, God bless Walmart and Greg Pinner. He was like, I don't think we should extend Russ. He's got 2 years left on the deal. Why don't we see how this kind of plays out? We love you, Greg. Your foresight, your vision. All hail Greg.
Just gotta get those unions in there, and then you're rocking,
Yeah.
Maybe it was part of it. Russell Wilson was part of a union. You could have gotten that. Boomer shooters.
Boomers.
And now we're just old. We're just old.
A boomer shooter's a video game category?
Doom, I could understand, but I know that they now said that it's a boomer shooter.
Boomer shooter. Interesting.
I don't know.
Okay, Hugh.
I feel like you don't want that though, because like you got to prime it. Like all right, so that's the thing, is your cord smaller per enough? Like, because the weed whacker that I use, man, like you gotta just like.
No, it's 2025. Mine's electric. I plug in a battery and it goes.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just make sure you're also, modifying that for 2020. A lot of people, they have electric ones, right? So you don't even have to pull it to start anymore. So then it's just a button. You don't want just a little, just want to make sure that you're up in your game.
Yeah.
So that's what I mean. There are some people in the NFL, some of the brightest individuals, right? With the analytics, with the coaching. There are also some not so bright people.
Yeah.
There are also some not some smart people.
And this speaks to kind of what the NFL doesn't want, in that, like, the Browns went rogue. And really, all it takes is for, like, one rogue owner to kind of do what they want.
Yeah.
To mess up the system. And they want to make sure everybody's kind of in line. And the longer the NFL goes on, and where we have, like, these ownership changes where you've got to have incredibly deep pockets coming into the league. The chances of somebody kind of doing things their own way gets like less and less likely as we move forward, because the people that are going to do that are the ones that have been around forever and feel like they have the confidence to do their own thing. And one of those guys who was kind of a wild card was Jim Irsay. Like, that's a guy who I think would buck the trend if he thought it was going to give his team the best chance to win. Mm-hmm. And Florio said something, and I'm putting this in the episode, that I never even thought about, that each team functions as an individual a business, and they should be doing things individually. But we don't think of the NFL that way. We think of the 32 owners working in unison at all times. I was like, I don't even know the last time I thought about it.
I can tell you exactly when that happened. 2 years ago, during 30 and 30, when you have to deal with 30 individual stadiums and 30, and some are owned by the city with their stadium, like, you realize, like, holy crap, they are all doing their own thing. Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, they represent the shield. But dude, when I say, like, some are doing their way own thing, it's like, oh, this is very different from what other teams are doing.
Yeah.
It's 32. Yeah, that literally was 30 and 30. Yeah, there's 32 different businesses that are trying to operate under the umbrella that is the NFL. And Roger Goodell is supposed to be like, hey, guys, let's all come together.
Let's all get richer.
Yeah. But that's what can bring them together. They're like, money. What brings everybody together at the holidays?
Profit. I'm a prophet.
Speaking of football things, Aaron Rodgers going on the Pat McAfee show yesterday.
God, I love this man.
Basically saying, this is likely going to be it. The curtain call, if you will, that this will likely be his final year in the NFL, playing for the Pittsburgh Steelers. He's super happy. He's talking to Mike Tomlin every single week, but this seems like it's done. Now, it does leave the door open still. Of course, you got to always leave it open a little bit, but it seems like, he just wants this one more time, and that's it.
Yes, he said that. That's a no shit, duh, type thing. He also said, once he retires, you're not gonna see me anymore.
Oh, I'll be gone.
I can't wait to get out of the limelight, is what this gentleman is saying. He is saying, sick of all the attention. I am going to disappear while voluntarily being on one of the biggest sports shows there is, which he agrees to go on every week. After he greenlit a 3-part docuseries about his life for Netflix.
Yeah. All right. So
sick of the limelight after he considered being a vice vice presidential candidate. I love that man.
All right, Perna, over under. Maybe he means it though. Maybe he means it, but over under. Yeah. I'm gonna put it at.
Yeah, if he really meant it, he wouldn't have said it. He would just fucking disappear. People who actually don't want the attention, they don't tell you are not going to hear from me after this.
So over under 2.5 years that he starts his own podcast, or he's on like he's an analyst.
Oh God, 2.5 years?
I'd say 2.5.
I'll take the under.
Take the under? Okay.
Yeah, and his podcast will have nothing to do with football.
I could see that, and like be like wellness and some like could kind of be.
Yeah, he will be peddling the greatest lies about wellness you can consume.
Man, imagine an Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, just like conversation, just be.
He's like, I had the most dangerous form of cancer. I ate this mushroom and it disappeared. That's the type of shit he's going to start telling you.
It's just like, hey guys.
Yeah.
Here you go. There you go. Go buy it right now.
Oh man, dude, I wish I was doing YouTube for Tebow Mania.
That would have been something.
Dude, Tebow Mania, that season was one of the craziest seasons of football I've ever consumed in my life.
The fact they won a playoff game is still wild.
I talked about this with my buddy like several times watching Tebow. I'm like, this is the worst quarterback I've ever seen play for 3.5 quarters of football. And then he is the best quarterback I have ever watched for about a half a quarter. I felt like for the first time in my life, I didn't understand football and how it worked because of Tim Tebow.
Everything that I thought I knew about football, apparently I don't.
Yeah. Some of the most incredible victories I have ever watched for the Broncos happened because of Tebow. And then, that Steelers game in overtime with DT, it was just like a perfect cherry to the end of that season, and that's when the season ended. The Patriots game the next week, don't remember that, don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But Tebow Mania, I should have started that season, and it was the next year when Manning came in. I made my first video about the Broncos, and I guaranteed that the Broncos would sign Peyton Manning, and then I got too self-conscious and didn't upload it. And I'm like, fuck, I should have done that. I would have looked smart. I would have been right, and I would have started a year earlier. But I was a coward. I was a coward.
So he was either alive, now he's dead, or he was dead, he was really dead. What else matters? What else matters? You walk through it. Everybody either puts a thumb up or thumb down.
I remember thinking at the time, like, because everybody's like, this dude Tebow, he can't play in the NFL.
Yeah.
His game doesn't translate. And I'm like, if Josh McDaniels wants this guy, I think Josh knows a good quarterback when he sees one. Oh yeah, Chad. Fucking Chad was on First Take because of his Tebow song. And Chad helped me do the FYTB song years later here in Denver. So
there you go.
Chad Neat.
The best part is that can be about Tebow or Perna, and it works out.
Yeah. I have no idea what this man is talking about.
That's great. All right, Perna, let's get into your AFC.
All right, we'll start in the South. Boom or bust players, Tom?
Hit the music.
Okay, hold on one second. Ready for the music. How about this one?
That's right. Welcome to the Grossi Perna Show. Eat this mushroom, and you can live your best life possible.
You have diabetes?
Rodgers caps.
Do you have diabetes?
No caps here.
Eat this. Just eat your grass. Go out front, eat your grass, and you'll get rid of your diabetes.
Hey, I don't have diabetes and I eat grass. Coincidence?
You know who doesn't have diabetes? Horses and cows. What do they eat? Grass. Aaron Rodgers. You can now buy a bag of my own grass. It'll cure what ails you.
Is it
AFC South?
Is it cut? And if so, is it by a tractor? Is it a push lawnmower? Is it an electric mower? Is it?
It's
pulled?
hand trimmed.
Hand trimmed. Okay, so it's not
No
pulled,
fertilizer, just cow manure, of course. Fresh cow manure, and it cures everything.
Okay.
There's no dyes in it, so. Oh God! Of course, there's somebody in there who says, "You know what horses get diabetes? The ones where their owners feed them hamburgers." Horse burgers. Diabetes.
You gotta buy Rodgers grass, and then they won't get diabetes. So
I think diabetes is like one of the oldest YouTube clips up there.
Also,
like,
Brimley or
YouTube was created, and they're like, we got to get Brimley saying diabetes up on YouTube now. All right.
Damn.
Jaguars. Holy shit, Bill.
Bill
Brasky. If y'all heard a Go Broncos.
You went skydiving, Bill? Oh, hell yeah. How was that?
That sounds... I'll never skydive. Absolutely not. Horrified of heights.
I'd skydive before I'd be terrified, but I would skydive before I bungeed.
Yeah, I would never. I don't want to do either.
Which one would you do if you had to do one?
I would hide. I'd commit a crime so I get locked in jail so I don't have to do either one.
Wow, you'd rather spend time in prison than go and do that.
I'd rather get the prison thing done to me, if you know what I mean.
Get rehabilitated? I'm just kidding.
Speaking of somebody who would do very well in prison, Trevor Lawerence for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
But I love sex. I just busted right inside him, and he can't extend on me anymore, and he seems a little overwhelmed by my girth.
I don't watch porn.
Bill,
If you don't watch porn, you won't get diabetes.
Bill, how
Aaron
was
Rodgers.
it, by the way? How was skydiving? I mean, I imagine the yelling. I imagine that, but how was it?
I don't think it's fun.
Okay. What a segue. Hey, you know what? That clip had Aaron Rodgers in it. So,
yeah, I got Trevor Lawerence for the Jags. That's my point.
Trevor Lawerence makes a lot. I feel like Travis Etienne, that's kind of like, hey, there needs to be production here. I think there's just gonna be more pressure on Trevor Lawerence, right? Dealing with some injuries, and obviously things have not gotten back to the divisional round, which is what they've been trying to get back to. So that offense needs to actually start clicking. And I remember just talking about the Jaguars and constantly week after week be like, maybe this is the week where it clicks. Like maybe this is the one. And they just haven't gotten back to that high-powered offense. Now it's some new personnel. I feel like, but Trevor Lawerence is going to have a pretty.
He's in that year where it's like if he doesn't play, and he doesn't have to be perfect this year, but if he doesn't get close to where he was that season, they got to the playoffs and they beat the Chargers in the postseason. If he doesn't get close to that, then it's just like,
what are we doing?
We need a new quarterback. Like that's the perspective, I think, from the Jags. They bring in a new coach, an offensive guy. They got Brian Thomas. They add in Travis Hunter. So I just think we need to feel like Lawrence is the dude, and we know for sure he is the dude. The talent's there. We've seen it in flashes, which 100%. Means it's there. It can be cultivated. And I hope it works out.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's got the weapons, right? He got the new personnel. So it's like, hey, you got to go out and ball out and stay healthy. Would you go skydiving if they won the next 3 Super Bowls, the Broncos?
The Broncos won't lose to the Chiefs for the next 5 years and win 3 Super Bowls.
That's pretty good.
Skydiving for 3 Broncos Super Bowls?
That's pretty good.
Only if Tom Cruise comes with me.
Oh, you're going to do it in tandem together.
Yeah, I want to be strapped to Tom Cruise's belly. I just feel like I would trust Tom Cruise, I'd feel safe in his arms. He's done this shit like 1,000 times.
Sure.
So
feel safe in that arena, maybe not with the Scientology.
And by the time I land, I'll probably be a Scientologist.
Yeah, so. I mean, that's the downside that nobody talks about. It's a long flight up, and he's like, "Now we got some time, Brandon." Yeah. He would land in like the middle of an open field that's nowhere near any road, and be like, "Oh, it looks like we have to walk a few miles back." While we're walking,
what do you know about L. Ron Hubbard?
That's right. All right.
So speaking of Scientology, the cults. Cult? It is a cult.
Oh, I see what you did there. A
lot better than my Trevor Lawerence going to prison.
It's true.
He's got long hair.
All right, who'd you pick for? Is it Richardson or?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like with Richardson
and Daniel Jones to a lesser extent.
Daniel Jones has no pressure, man. If he sucks,
no pressure. But right now, Anthony Richardson's hurt. Jones is in a spot where he could revitalize his career based on how he performs on the field because he's going to play. We know he's going to play. But yeah, it's Richardson. He's the thumbnail. Like this is and I want it. I want it to work out for Richardson.
Sure.
He will be fun if he's good, but
it's just in terms of, I mean, there's so much pressure on him, but it's like the Colts can't wait anymore, right? Like this is we need to see something. Like we need to see consistency. You can stay healthy. You can perform like from week to week because otherwise they're going to be starting over at the QB position unless Daniel Jones has a career resurgence in Indianapolis, which could it happen? Sure. With Jonathan Taylor, his best season, Daniel Jones, meaning his best season was when Saquon Barkley was absolutely tearing it up, right? They go and they win a playoff game against the Minnesota Vikings. Like if Jonathan Taylor can be that guy, which he's a great running back, they have some weapons. I don't think that they'd be horrible. Like I think that Daniel Jones could definitely be serviceable, but that's not why you drafted Anthony Richardson. So you're going to get Daniel Jones to start. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
I hope it's a great one.
Does the player boom, bust, or make the Vikings cry on the field? Find out this time on.
God, I always hope they cry on the field.
Yeah. I will
Always.
not say that word. All right. So we got Richardson.
Oh, come on.
Not saying it.
Got to catch them all.
Tennessee Titans. Now, my first thought was nobody. Everybody for the Titans. Nobody? Nobody. They're in this like luxury window, right? They got a rookie quarterback coming in. Nobody really expects a ton from the Titans right now. I don't even know if Brian Callahan's the right head coach, but then I was like, maybe there's actually the easiest answer on the list here.
Traylon Burks? Or
yes.
Yeah, Traylon Burks. I feel like that is.
He has been forgotten so much that I didn't even think of him initially. So I was like, oh yeah, like it's the worst trade we've had probably in the last 5 years. He's still on the team.
Still there?
You got a chance, and if he doesn't perform this, like he's gone. And like not only is he gone, but I don't know if he's ever gonna be, like a 5th or 6th option on a depth chart at this point, and he was taken in the first round. So
yeah. I agree. I mean, I think it looks bad, not only as a first round wide receiver, it looks bad because this was the guy that was supposed to take over for AJ Brown after the Titans traded him. And that's not Traylon Burks' fault. Like, that's not his fault that his organization that he plays for did something really, really dumb. Yeah. But there is a certain level of like, hey, you have to show out, and he just hasn't.
Yeah, he's had some injuries. There's been odd quarterback play there. It's a lot of factors, but
that's a tough stat.
Yeah.
That is a
caffeinated hamster. No, I would not agree with Bo Nix as a caffeinated hamster.
That's very tough.
Plays like Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah.
He's a believer. He's saving the Broncos.
Yep.
All right. Texans, also a tricky one. Ultimately, I landed on Dameon Pierce.
Ooh, I like that pick. I mean, like, I don't think that there's going to be a ton of pressure on him just because Joe Mixon worked out, right? They brought in Nick Chubb, but we don't know how effective he's going to be. But I will say I was very much on the train of Dameon Pierce because that breakout season he had, I was like, damn, like, okay, cool. Like, they have a backfield. And then it just has not panned out. But
he was like, I love the way he ran too. He was like a punishing runner. Looked like he was going to be the dude. Now they got Nick Chubb there as well.
Yep.
I had kind of like a side note for also like Christian Kirk.
Ooh, okay.
It's not, it's not like necessarily like a boom or bust, but he's in the last year of that $72 million contract he had. He was playing well with Jacksonville. Then he gets hurt last year. And I think Kirk's only 28. Christian Kirk. So it's like he has a chance to earn another contract, like a really nice one, if he plays well. And the Texans really need a receiver to stay healthy from all season.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think he's kind of a good player to kind of have in that. But
yeah, no, I can agree with that. I can get down that.
I mean, like you could argue for their entire offensive line as well. I think it's an important year for CJ Stroud, but
yeah, I don't think it's just boomer bust level.
Yeah.
Pierce, I feel like, is a good one to just fit the title. I agree with that.
The Steelers, I said very predictably, this is, of course, third-year tackle Broderick Jones.
So, yeah.
Before I said, also kind of Aaron Rodgers, a lot of Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, but honestly, how much is it going to impact him?
Yeah, like it's Rodgers' last hurrah. We know how important he is to their success this year. Are they going to be exactly the same, get into the playoff, lose right away? Can he get him a playoff win, or is he going to be like he was with the Jets and things just go worse than we can even imagine?
Mm-hmm.
But I think Broderick Jones is like a kind of like a smarter answer there.
I think it is. I mean, if he was still on the squad, I'd probably say Najee Harris, but but he's not on the squad anymore. So,
and oddly, I don't think he necessarily is for the Chargers.
No, I don't think he is for the Chargers either. So that's true.
I don't think it's a make or break year for Bo.
Make or break.
I think if Bo somehow plays way worse, then we're gonna be like, what? Yeah.
And I think that's just karma. All the crap you talk about Jordan Love, just coming right back at you.
No, that's not how it works.
Throwing stones in glass houses.
No, I have given Love plenty of hype.
No, haven't. Crapped all over him.
No, my fault. He sucked last year.
He didn't suck last year.
Not my fault. He was the worst last year.
That's just statistically not true.
Oh, all my receivers can't catch. Ooh. Then run it yourself, Jordan.
Is that coming
Actually,
from
it's like every stat you look at, it's like Love and Bo Nix are right next to each other.
Except awesome.
Except Jordan Love was in year 20 already, and Bo Nix was a rookie. Oh, it's you got to sit your quarterback for a decade so they know how to do everything. Still hit that sophomore slump, didn't they?
The sophomore season.
I don't even. I love Jordan. I think Jordan Love's great.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm like, you don't even believe what you're saying. Come on, you're for the love of the game.
You.
That's it. All right, so you talk about the Steelers.
Bengals. We're at Bengals.
Okay.
I said front office. Is a boomer bust for front office in Cincy? Give me who you think it is for the Bengals.
It's a really good
tough for me.
I feel like maybe I'm going with someone in their secondary. I feel like if we want to be just a snarky person, if Shamar Stewart plays, there's going to be a lot of praise on his first year. But like, obviously he could do poorly, but it just would not look good. Ooh, that's a good question.
I ultimately landed on Chase Brown.
I was about to say Chase Brown is solid.
Last season, he got the opportunity, and he played the way I think Bengals fans thought he could. And they started the season, they had Zach Moss, and they're splitting carries. Chase Brown didn't get, I think, more than like 10 carries until week 3 or 4, whatever. But the Bengals were 3-1 in games where Chase Brown had at least 20 carries. And second half of the season, I just thought their whole offense worked better when he was a key component to it. And I don't know if it's like a boom or bust season for him, but I think he's a really important player for the Bengals that probably didn't get talked about enough. But
I feel like because you've seen him even before last season, like have some runs and you're like, ooh, okay. Right. Like, cause he had like the Captain America nickname and stuff. Right. That's him.
I think they actually called him.
This is not. This is what I get for
the Red Hulk.
Nope. Red Skull would have been better because then it's, at least it's a.
They called him Groot.
That's very true, Zach. Yeah, literally. Get out of here. All right, here.
75 years.
Get out of here.
Available at benchwarmershop.com.
Who's your favorite Rocky?
All time?
No, current roster.
Chris Bryant. I love how much they paid that man.
See, the best thing is you could have said a name. That name could be made up, and I'll have no idea. I would have not a clue. Not a clue. Yeah, I feel like looking at DC, it's not a player, but I understand. I feel like there's just a ton of pressure on their front office right now. I agree with that. Chase Brown's a good pick. I like that. I don't know how much they'll actually utilize him this year, but yeah, I think that. You got Cleveland or you got Baltimore?
Then I went with the Ravens.
Okay.
Another. Now,
I did it before Jair. Jair makes sense now.
Now he does.
This is his last opportunity to get a major contract, right? He's doing a prove-it year, 4-year deal, $2 million in incentives. That makes sense. Did you say Mark Andrews?
No.
Mark Andrews, I feel like...
I thought about Mark.
Mark Andrews is interesting. That's an interesting one.
I went with Odafe Owe.
Okay. Now,
I think he's actually a very good example of what like my idea of make or break players are. He's in his 5th year. Like he's playing on his 5th year option. He's had 1 season of really nice production. He had 10 sacks last year. He's in that prime position where if he has another 10 plus sack season, he's gonna make fucking bank.
He's gonna make a lot of money.
And there's a good chance he doesn't do that with the Ravens because they've kind of notoriously let edge rushers go. Like that's just the way they've done it over the last
They develop
decade.
them, they get them for their rookie deal, and then Zadarius Smith goes to everyone in the NFC North.
Yeah, but their secondary's so good. He should have a tremendous season now. He should have like 13 or 14 sacks. He had I think a good amount of pressures last year, but like he's not make or break to their overall success. Like I think their defense is good and he'll be an important part of it, but like he's setting himself up to get paid. Yeah, Isaiah Likely's toe.
I feel like in terms of just, Andrews, I mean, there's been talks, right? And I feel like just the way that last season ended, right? Some Ravens fans are a little bit down, and I know that there's been questions asked about trading him or moving on from Mark Andrews, but yeah, I feel like Andrews is just, like, he's got to come out swinging. He has to. Otherwise, he's just not going to have the spot anymore.
Yeah.
So, I like that. Cleveland. I'm curious who you picked for Cleveland. Also, real quick, I think I saw this stat, and I confirmed this is. I just want to shout out Lamar Jackson because I saw this comparison and I was like, damn, I've never seen those two numbers next to each other.
Was it the McCaffrey one?
Dude, yeah. Christian McCaffrey having, what was it, 6,000? How many over yards it was? Hold on. Hold the phone.
Yeah, it's their rushing yards are pretty similar, right?
CMC has 6,387 rushing yards, and Lamar Jackson has 6,173.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's very insane.
It's like Lamar Jackson, man. Like, he can get crapped on about. No, he's.
Yeah. The only caveat to that stat is that like a lot of McCaffrey's production is also in the receiving game. I think he has like.
Sure.
He has like over 4,000 receiving yards as a running back,
Yeah.
100%. So that's like the only thing there. If you're trying to like help Christian McCaffrey out,
it's just impressive as crap like that you're having.
Lamar's so good.
I mean, it's just
he's so good.
Yeah. Sorry.
Except when he plays the Chiefs.
Cleveland quarterback room. Did you just pick the entire room itself?
Yeah, I said don't say Shedeur Sanders. I said it's got to be a break year for Joe Flacco. Like he's got to suck so one of those other guys can get a chance to play. Because if Flacco's good and they're winning games, when are we going to see either of those gentlemen? Then I said like, and I have like a rule of not putting the rookie on there.
Sure,
but I think there's going to be some extra attention on Mason Graham because. The Jags traded with the Browns to get Travis Hunter. So the Browns, I don't want to say settle, but they took Mason Graham. Like and defensive linemen, a lot of the time they take a couple years before you really start to notice them. So you want him to come in and be really fucking good right away. I don't think that's going to happen, but you can put their whole QB room. I think that's very fair.
Just the entire. I mean, they need to step up. Yeah, someone needs to. Someone needs to do something.
Yeah.
UFL is expanding, huh? Anchorage, Alaska. I want to say UFL there, and then let's go New Mexico.
Yeah, Albuquerque.
Let's go Albuquerque.
Go Topes. Get the Topes.
Okay, yeah, that's clear. So that's the AFC North. So we got South, we got the North. You want to go East or West? We'll save the West for last.
We're at the East.
Oh boy,
Buffalo Bills.
if he doesn't get a new deal, I mean, it is a very large for Cook, right? Like James Cook has to be up there in terms of he had that amazing production last year, wants to get paid. It looks like he's going to be playing for him. I feel like it's very boom or bust.
Agree. I ultimately went with Dalton Kincaid.
Okay.
I also think it's a really important year for Keon Coleman as well. But
I agree with that.
If we win, it's bad somehow.
It's true.
No, I mean if Joe Flacco's not your solution. That's what I'm saying.
I think
if he's winning games, you're not going to get to see which quarterback's actually good. Also, if he's winning games, then you're not going to be in a spot to actually maybe have a chance to draft another quarterback, which you might fucking need next year.
Sure.
I like Joe. Dude, I would love if Joe Flacco takes the Browns into the postseason and we don't see Shedeur or Dylan Gabriel all year. It would be actually the funniest thing that could happen.
It would be pretty funny. Yeah.
But like Kincaid, really nice rookie season. Disappeared last year at times for the Bills offense. I think where they drafted him, he has to be productive and be a big part of the offense for the Bills. And I think Keon Coleman needs to look like a wide receiver 1/2, like him and Khalil Shakir. Sure. We got to talk about how those two are unstoppable. Like Josh Allen always has one of those guys as a reliable target. But yeah, you could argue there's three with James Cook in terms of players. In terms of the Bills offense, you've got options, I think, behind James Cook, but yeah, Buffalo.
I mean, just in terms of him, right? Like he's just for James Cook, it's a make or break year if he's going to get another significant contract. So
yeah. And I think we will be talking about Dalton Kincaid being great, or holy fuck, look at the leap Keon Coleman took in year 2. I really like those guys, and I want to see them ball. Then I went to the Jets.
JB, you talking about the collusion thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Possible strike coming?
Wait, I'm just saying, is that what you're referring to? Don't give money. I just am looking for clarification.
Yeah. I don't think a strike's coming.
No.
No.
Yeah, if you're talking about the stuff where it's like, so Jacob, that is what you're talking about. I don't know if there'd be a strike coming, but like this is also like the NFLPA has to advocate for its players. Like this is literally their job.
Yeah.
This is why they get all the players Madden money, and it's the exact same amount of money. Like this is why. So
the biggest bombshell from that whole thing is some of the NFLPA might be bought and paid for. Ish.
Shot. So I don't know if it's going to lead to I don't think it's going to lead to a strike. No. I mean, you would have to have a significant amount of support for that, but
yeah, and they're definitely not going to strike. Like if there's a strike holdout thing, it happens during those collective bargaining negotiations. They use that as leverage. Like, okay, we won't play at all. And then the NFL owners are like, fine, don't play at all. And then there's 60%, 70% of the players in the league can't afford to not play.
Correct. Well, I mean, and it's also their last CBA was so, it's going to sound very harsh, was so anti-player when it comes to sitting out, right? It literally just feeds into, this is just a win-win-win for the ownership / team. Because not only do you lose money every single time that you sit out, but on top of that, like it doesn't even count towards your contract in terms of like the year doesn't go by. So you are literally just stuck with this team.
Yeah.
So I feel like there have already been plenty of things that have been anti-player, but if this is going to make a ton of waves, which I'm curious to see if it's going to really kind of blow up, I don't think you're going to see a strike out of it.
No.
But maybe if the NFLPA can just do their job, that'd be nice.
I think they want guaranteed contracts. They have to use that as their leverage when the NFL inserts their 18th game.
Mm-hmm.
Like, okay, you want the 18th game? We want guaranteed money.
Yup.
Yeah.
I mean, but this is, right, you look at, and I'm just going to take this example because it was a fiery debate last year and it has been, and it's going to be even more, after next year with the World Cup coming, look at the grass fields, right? Of just saying like, hey, a bunch of players will feel safer if they were at... Nope.
If the NFL wants somebody in the NFLPA who will be a shill, who will be Two-Face, I nominate myself.
There you go.
Nobody will spin
No one will play both sides like
in your
Brandon
favor
Perna.
like me, NFL. I'll say all the things to make it look like I am on the player's side. Behind closed doors.
Just sell them out.
Yep. I will
There you go.
sell them right down the fucking river, Roger.
There you go.
Just give me that cushy salary and I will do your dirty work. Oh, God. And I'll do it well. I'll do it so well. People are saying how the NFLPA has never been better. Unanimous support from the players.
You
is
put
what I'm
yourself
gonna
in
get.
Madden, of course.
Dude, I will fuck that shit up, Roger.
He's basically Hulk Hogan
Yeah.
without the racism.
Yeah, baby. All right,
Thanks,
Jets. Justin Fields. Justin Fields. For his career, for this season, for the Jets,
Yeah.
there's a lot.
I feel like Breece Hall, he needs to have a good
year for
season.
Breece.
He needs to have a good season, right? Like that's going to be important. I mean, we were talking about Breece Hall as like the second coming, and so I think he just needs to have a really good year because Justin Fields, I think the expectations are pretty low that he is going to be this incredible quarterback, right? But I feel like Garrett Wilson, I feel like not he needs to have a good year also. I think he's going to get paid regardless, but Garrett Wilson is like another... We were talking about these guys of like, oh man, this insane offense is why the excitement was there for when Aaron Rodgers was going, right? And are they QB proof? We'll see. Interesting. Ooh, Berlin? Hell yeah. Destroy the purple incarnation of Satan. Yes.
Oh yeah, that was the other thing Rodgers said recently, that the run game for the Jets didn't make any sense. Did you hear that quote about it?
Yeah.
Wasn't it Aaron Rodgers' offense? Wasn't it Rodgers' offense with the coordinator he wanted to come over?
I love that man so much.
That's it.
You know, it's like me saying,
Rams, huh?
are swear words necessary, Tom, on this show?
I don't know. You do them all the time.
Do the swear words take away from the quality of the show, Tom?
I think if they're
Doesn't
used
make any
to,
sense to me.
they're sprinkled in there.
Doesn't make any sense to me. Anyway, Patriots.
You mean real American beer, brother?
I wanna be a Hulkamaniac.
If you want to drink
With my
urine.
family and friends. If you want to be a Hulkamaniac, listen up. I'll tell you how to stay on track.
Yo, you want to do deep pulls of Hulk Hogan, Thunder in Paradise?
Hulkster in heaven.
Come on now.
All right, Patriots.
I don't see, because I don't feel like it's a bust, but like Drake May, there's a lot of pressure. There's a good amount of pressure on Drake May. You kind of have a few more weapons, an actual offensive line. There's gonna be some pressure. Ramondre Stevenson, go on a big year from him, right? Like he's got to be on there.
I went with Tom Brady. Tom.
Oh boy.
No, I didn't. I leaned on their, like the Packers. I kind of leaned on their receivers a little bit.
Ooh, Diggs is a good one. Yeah, just for
Diggs is
him.
coming off an injury. When he's healthy, he's great. And I said Diggs just for his overall NFL like legacy.
Yeah.
Like if he comes back from that ACL and then he's great for the Patriots, like he's on a trajectory to get into the Hall of Fame if he keeps producing the way he does every year. But also, I think Jalen Polk was kind of disappointing last year. Kayshon Boutte kind of emerged as a nice weapon late in the season. They have Demario Douglas, Matt Collins, Kyle Williams. They really need somebody to just, outside of Diggs, be the guy.
Just show up.
Yes.
But they ever since they drafted Thornton, like they're like, okay, this is our guy. Like he's full of, like, this is why we're drafting him pretty high.
Sure.
But they have not been able to find, like they found like some reliable guys, but they haven't found their wide receiver one. I agree with that.
Miami Dolphins. I said it feels like everyone from Tua to Mike McDaniel to Tyreek Hill, to Bradley Chubb to Jalen Phillips. I landed on Jalen Phillips, and he has had horrible injury luck. They've already kind of drafted, I think, his replacement in Chop Robinson.
Yep.
I think they would love to have Jalen Phillips back. I think he's on his 5th-year option.
Dude,
he was injured again last year.
I mean, the amount of pressure, you're not wrong. I mean, like, there's so many people that are like, hey, this could be it. You could go for Tua, which I feel like is just at this point, we're talking about this all the time, right? It's like, oh, we can stay healthy, but yeah, that Bradley Chubb's a great one. Tyreek is a good one. McDaniel, who's not even a player.
They gave Chubb a new deal. So Phillips on that 5th-year deal. If he plays well, if he stays healthy, he's got options of coming back to the Dolphins, who I think would want him back, not on a blockbuster sort of contract, but a respectable one. Or if he plays well enough, you can hit free agency and make some coin. AFC.
It is a big year for the Dolphins because it's like, what the hell is this team going to look like?
And their overall relevance, right now.
Yeah.
It's like they had that really fun season. We're like, oh fuck, they're putting it together, and they just haven't been able to live up to that. So
I agree.
Raiders.
Ooh.
I went with edge rusher Tyree Wilson.
Ooh.
Heading into his 3rd season.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Drafted 7th overall. So 8 total sacks, I think, in 2 years.
That is a very good one. Christian Wilkins is up there for me just in terms of like, that was a big acquisition. And like, obviously, dealing with setbacks and stuff, it's not his, but like this, you want to see a return on investment this season, right? Of like him breaking out, but that's a very good pick.
Yeah. It's just like, you got Max Crosby on one side. You want somebody eating opposite of him. And then the Raiders will get Malcolm Kuntz returning from his injury. He tore his ACL. And he was playing well before he got hurt. So it's an interesting season there. Chiefs.
Yeah. Sure.
I posed the question, can I root for 53 players to have a break season?
Bust season.
Yeah. Bust, break, whatever. Ultimately, I landed on Hollywood Brown.
Ooh. I could pick up what you're putting down there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he got more hype than... I think that like expectations were pretty darn high of like, oh man, because there was such a vacuum at the wide receiver position of like, hey, they're just going to need help here. But that's not bad.
Yeah, he and Rice were hurt for pretty much the whole season last year. We know Xavier Worthy's probably going to be good. I think if Hollywood Brown is good, then their whole offense is kind of like deadly again. Like we're going to be watching a very dynamic Chiefs offense. But see, and some people were saying Pacheco. I don't think the run game fucking matters for the Chiefs. Like, I think Pacheco was fine. I think he would be fine. I think Kelsey's going to be better, but
I'm assuming this is his last run for it anyway.
Possibly,
I think it's he's got a couple seasons left, maybe.
Yeah, and I thought about like the edge position for the Chiefs as well. Like I know that's a complaint for them on defense.
Yeah,
but if Chris Jones is healthy, everything is fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be fine. Clyde Edwards. Okay, so Judges.
I took the easy answer and said Quentin Johnston.
Quentin Johnston. I mean, it's yeah,
and I think it's like
he did better.
He did better. Not the guy that they wanted when they drafted. Mike Williams is back. They take Trey Harris. He's the odd man. Ladd McConkey was fucking great.
Yep.
So Johnson's going to have a hard time just getting targets. I think right now.
Sure.
On top of we know Harbaugh likes to run more. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Yeah, because there's also, if you look at that defense too. I mean, I hope their defense is good this year.
I don't. Hope it sucks. Hope it's just like a giant fucking hole. Everybody runs right through into the end zone.
All right. Yeah. Ooh, Zion Johnson.
I hope we're saying the only thing electric about the Chargers is their ability to allow opponents to score on them.
Who's your boomer bust for the Denver Broncos, Brandon?
This one was tricky.
Mm.
Very tricky. Landed on Troy Franklin.
Already. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Could argue Audric Estime. Nick Bonito, I think, is in a really key year at edge in terms of if he produces like he did last year, he's going to make a ton of money. Riley Moss is a solid answer, Ian. But I think the Broncos secondary is really good. I think Riley Moss has actually already proven he's pretty solid. I think he'll be better, but Troy Franklin had a handful of missed opportunities where we would look at his season differently as a rookie. I don't think it is necessarily for Mims. I think we saw how good Marvin Mims is. Franklin, I think what was hard to justify, there's some drops and there's also some missed throws from Nix to Franklin. It's those two should have been on the same page more than anybody because they played together at Oregon. Then you have Devon Vele in the mix. They draft Pat Bryant. So I think there's already options outside of Troy Franklin.
Mm.
And if he plays to his potential, their offense will just be so much better this year. He's explosive. But it was it's nice when the question's tough to answer, it means there's no glaring person.
Unless we're talking about the Dolphins, because it's
the opposite. I guess it's
then that's
I guess it works both ways.
I feel in terms of the player, Evan Ingram, right? Obviously after getting let go from the Jaguars for him because he's 30, if I'm not mistaken. This is a big boomer bust year in terms of just if he's going to get another contract, if he's going to kind of have that kind of season.
Sure.
And considering the Broncos have needed a tight end and just some kind of pass catcher there.
Yeah. I don't think it's Evan Ingram because the bar has been set so low for tight end production for the Broncos. Sure. It could be a bust year for Ingram himself, and we'll still be damn, dude's good. Dude's good in the receiving game.
I mean, listen, it was a need.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. Oh, J.K. Dobbins. Dude, yeah, I'm curious. I hope J.K. does well. I like J.K. Not against the Packers, though.
Yeah, and I can't remember if I made this episode before they signed J.K. or not, but probably. I don't know. When did J.K. land? I don't remember.
That's right, 401. Bo Nix.
It's hard to say.
Bo
Nix is going to boom all over everyone. They're going to call him Boom Boom.
Wouldn't it make sense bust in that sense?
He's going to boom on you.
Hold on. I forgot. Yeah, that's true. The Knicks have a coach yet? There's a GM slide around there. Can you go and fill in for Denver right now?
I could run a press conference as the Broncos, as the Nuggets GM or owner, and I could not suggest that we would consider trading Jokic. I could do that.
I think you could. I did see that Laporta was blessed by the Pope. Or what if it was a fake blessing? What if the Pope is just I know who you are? Right? Yeah, that's a little maybe a curse even. I don't know what you're doing with that, but
I'm blessing. I'm the Pope.
okay.
I'm the Pope.
Bears fans, how do you feel about it? Did you feel betrayed? Perna, what do you got coming out today?
Collusion. What should I title this episode? That's
Collusion.
the real question. Yeah.
If you want to go like super clickbaity.
Yeah, I got to get people to watch.
Will I be naked by the end of this video?
Ooh.
And it's just
I feel like less people will watch.
that's fair. Fair.
I'm not going to lie about people's desire to see me.
Collusion, the story that no one in the NFL is talking about. The story the NFL doesn't want you to hear.
Yeah. The end of the NFL, I like that. The episode the NFL doesn't want you to see. Why Deshaun Watson got paid and no one else did.
No, not that one. It's too specific.
The NFL's biggest scandal just broke.
If it just broke, I don't know about that one, but okay.
It just broke. It's such a guess. The assassination of guaranteed contracts by the coward Roger Goodell.
That's just a fantastic title.
That's Will and I were brainstorming, and Will came up with that one.
Well done, Will. Well done. Well done. Click here to win $1 million. Done.
Ooh, smart.
Well done, Will.
What I will be using is Mr. Beast's new AI tool to create my thumbnail. People love that thing.
Dude,
it's getting rave reviews.
It's just, my God, just peddling absolute trash and just make the platform worse. It's fine. It's fine. Yep. It's great.
Is the NFL dead?
Gotta do YouTube face. You gotta do YouTuber face. That's it. I like it. I'll probably have some video coming out today. I'm between two things. But yeah, I'll keep posted. I've been working on Coach nonstop, so haven't had a time to put out a ton of stuff. I'm also surviving one more day of the insane heat. We'll get there.
Oh yeah, no show Friday. I'll be leaving tomorrow. Bye.
But folks, thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna. This is GPS, and you have been navigated. Just pretend I caught it.
And you reached your destination.
Where are you?